Okay, this feels weird. Music was a huge part of my life, and quitting music is the hardest decision I've ever made. It was so hard that it was easier for me to quit porn than to quit music. And we all know how hard that is. That's how much I loved, was addicted to music. Why did I quit music? The short answer is for the sake of Allah. I recently reverted to Islam and music is frowned upon. Now, I didn't stop listening to music right after I reverted to Islam, even though I kind of knew it was haram. But Ramadan arrived, a time when Muslims are expected to exhibit their best behaviors. The minor sins we used to overlook, we strive to eliminate them completely for at least the duration of the 30 days fast. My plan was to abstain from music during this period, a daunting prospect considering that I had never gone a day without music my entire life. From the moment I wake up to the moment I go to bed, music was a constant presence. So naturally, I looked forward to the end of Ramadan so I could resume my musical routine. But as Ramadan progressed, the reasons gradually revealed themselves, not through a vision or a divine intervention, but in the changes I noticed within myself. After 30 days of abstaining from music, I now understand how this practice could potentially alter one's character because it did change my perspective on life. The first thing I learned is that addiction is an addiction. I think as individuals, we label what is an addiction and what is a hobby based on our personal view and what society labels as bad. People will typically call a person who does drugs all the time a drug addict, but call a person who listens to music all the time a music lover. Even though both acts involve the total dependency on something we don't actually need like water or food. I think one of the reasons why I couldn't stop was because I never labeled it as an addiction, but as a part of my life, so I assumed it was harmless. But music served a purpose in my life, which I now know isn't necessarily a good one all the time. Which brings me to the second thing I learned about myself. I listen to music to fill gaps of silence in my mind, to escape boredom or reality. This I thought wasn't a bad thing until I started living life without music. I realized that I had no choice but to now sit with my own thoughts and analyze my life. This made me look at my life from a broader perspective. Our minds do try to speak to us and help us make sense of our lives and environment, but I had always blocked it. I now realize that I never gave myself a chance to listen. I plugged my hair with music, so instead of helpful thoughts going through my mind, all that echoed in my mind was lyrics of music. The third thing is, when I stopped listening to music, I heard sounds that I didn't often hear. The sound of nature, animals, leaves blowing in the wind, the river, other people. Actually, that one, I don't really know how I feel about that one. Just the other day, I heard two homeless people talking about how they would bend each other over at night. It was just nasty. It's New York, maybe some other city. But anyways, this made me feel alive than I've ever been in a very, very long time. Now, the final thing I observed is that once I stopped putting headphones in my ears, I opened myself to the world. I didn't realize this at the time, but whenever I had headphones in my ears, I was signaling to the people around me that I wasn't available. Yes, people can be annoying and weird, but good things also come from people. One could miss potential lifelong friendships and opportunity because you're always putting up the sign that you're not available. So during the 30 days, I had conversations with all kinds of people, and honestly, it felt good to just talk to a random human being.